Hello, and welcome to another episode of Global English Podcast, the podcast where we explore topics that help you grow and develop in today's fast-paced world. I'm your host, Lisa, and today we're diving into an incredibly relevant and important topic: how to quit social media addiction easily. Joining me today is an expert in digital wellness, John, who's going to share some fantastic insights on how we can take control of our digital lives and reduce social media dependence.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. I'm excited to be here and share some practical strategies with your listeners. Today we'll talk about how small changes can have a big impact on reducing our screen time, improving our focus, and reconnecting with the world around us.
That sounds great, John. Let's jump right in and explore how we can take those first steps toward breaking free from social media addiction. So, John, let's begin by understanding what social media addiction actually means. Why is it so common nowadays?
That's a great starting point, Lisa. Social media addiction refers to the excessive and compulsive use of platforms like Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok to the point where it interferes with daily life. It's common because these platforms are designed to keep us hooked. They use algorithms that exploit our brain's reward system, giving us dopamine hits every time we receive likes, comments, or new content.
Wow, that's eye-opening. It sounds like the design itself makes it difficult to stop. But what are the warning signs that someone might be addicted?
Good question. Some common signs include constantly checking your phone, feeling anxious or restless when you're not online, neglecting responsibilities, and even losing sleep because of scrolling late into the night.
I can imagine a lot of listeners nodding their heads right now. So, how can they begin breaking free from this cycle?
The first step is awareness. Start tracking how much time you're spending on social media. Many phones have built-in features or apps that can give you a daily report. Once you see the numbers, it can be a wake-up call.
That's a great tip. After becoming aware, what's next?
Next, set boundaries. For example, designate specific times during the day for checking social media, like 15 minutes in the morning and evening. Also, create phone-free zones, such as keeping your bedroom or dining area off limits for devices.
I love the idea of a phone-free zone. But what about people who need to use social media for work?
Great point. For those individuals, the key is mindful usage. Use tools like timers or focus apps to ensure you're only spending time on productive tasks. It's also helpful to set intentions before opening the app. Ask yourself, why am I logging in?
That's so practical. Are there any specific techniques you recommend to make quitting social media easier?
Absolutely. One simple yet effective trick is to silence notifications. Those constant pings and alerts are designed to pull you back into the apps. By turning off non-essential notifications, you create fewer interruptions and can focus on what truly matters.
That makes so much sense. I've noticed those notifications can be really distracting.
Another strategy is setting a time limit. Most phones have a feature that allows you to cap your daily usage for specific apps. For example, you could set Instagram to only allow 30 minutes per day. Once you hit that limit, the app locks and you're forced to step away.
I've tried time limits before, and it's a great way to become more intentional about your usage. What's next?
Here's a fun one. Try putting your phone in grayscale mode. When your screen is black and white, the apps appear less stimulating and less appealing. It's a psychological trick that helps reduce the urge to scroll endlessly.
Wow, I've never thought of that. It sounds like a simple yet clever hack.
It really works. And finally, one of the boldest moves is to delete these apps from your phone entirely. You can still access social media on your desktop or laptop, but removing them from your mobile device eliminates the temptation to check them constantly.
That's a big step, but I can see how it could make a huge difference. What about people who aren't ready to go that far?
For those who aren't ready to delete the apps, start small. Unfollow accounts that don't add value to your life. Curate your feed to include only content that inspires or educates you. This way, your experience on social media becomes more intentional.
That's such a balanced approach. Before we move on, what would you say to someone who feels anxious about cutting back on social media?
I'd remind them that it's okay to take it one step at a time. Start with small changes, like silencing notifications or setting a time limit. Over time, you'll notice how much better you feel, and that will motivate you to keep going. Remember, the goal isn't to quit completely, it's to regain control over your time and focus.
That's such an encouraging message, John. Thank you for sharing these actionable tips. I'm sure our listeners are taking notes right now. Thanks for those great tips, John. Now, let's switch gears and share a fun fact. Did you know that the average person spends a staggering 2 hours and 31 minutes on social media every single day? By the time you turn 70, that adds up to nearly 6 years of your life spent scrolling.
6 years? That's absolutely mind-blowing. Just think about all the things you could do with that much time. Learn a new skill, pick up a new hobby, or even start a side business.
Exactly. It really puts into perspective how much time we're spending on our screens. This is why it's so crucial to be mindful of our social media habits and manage our screen time more effectively. As we wrap up, let's summarize the key takeaways. Social media addiction is a real challenge, but it's not impossible to overcome. Start by becoming aware of your usage, set boundaries, and replace scrolling with healthier habits. Small steps can lead to big changes.
That's right. Remember, breaking free from social media addiction isn't about quitting entirely. It's about regaining control over your time and focus.
Well said, John. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
My pleasure, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Global English Podcast and share this episode with anyone who might need a little digital detox. Until next time, stay mindful and take care. All right, everyone. Now, let's dive into some key vocabulary that will help us better understand today's topic. How to quit social media addiction easily. These words and phrases will not only help you grasp the ideas we discussed, but also be useful in your everyday conversations. So, let's get started. Compulsive, meaning relating to an uncontrollable urge to do something repeatedly, often without thinking. Example: the compulsive checking of social media notifications can significantly interfere with your productivity. Interfere, meaning to disturb or disrupt the normal functioning of something. Example: constant social media use can interfere with relationships, work, and personal well-being. Dopamine, meaning a neurotransmitter in the brain that plays a key role in pleasure and reward. Example: social media platforms exploit dopamine to keep users engaged, as each notification provides a small dopamine hit. Mindful, meaning being aware or conscious of something, especially in a deliberate and purposeful way. Example: being mindful of how much time you spend on social media helps you regain control of your day. Grayscale, meaning a mode that turns a screen from color to varying shades of gray, often used to reduce distractions. Example: putting your phone in grayscale mode can make it less visually appealing and reduce the urge to scroll endlessly. Curate, meaning to carefully select and organize content. Example: curating your social media feed to include only educational or motivational accounts can improve your online experience. Alert, meaning a notification or signal that attracts attention, often related to an update or change. Example: turning off unnecessary alerts helps you stay focused and avoid constant distractions. Intentional, meaning done on purpose, with a specific aim or goal in mind. Example: being intentional about your social media use means only engaging with it when it serves a specific purpose, rather than mindlessly scrolling. Stimulating, meaning exciting or encouraging mental or emotional engagement. Example: bright colors and engaging content on social media are designed to be stimulating, making it harder to stop scrolling. Distraction, meaning a thing that prevents someone from concentrating on what they are doing. Example: social media notifications can be a major distraction, especially when you're trying to focus on work or study. Regain, meaning to obtain or recover something lost or taken away. Example: taking regular breaks from social media can help you regain your focus and mental clarity. Temptation, meaning a desire or urge to do something, often something that is not good for you. Example: deleting distracting apps from your phone can help you avoid the temptation to check them every few minutes. Thank you for listening to our episode. I hope you learned something new and helpful today. Please give us a like and subscribe for video like this, share it with your friends, and let us know what you think in the comments section below. We'll be back with more interesting discussions soon.